Here for a while. Welcome back. We were on vacation. Went out to see a really amazing place, and it's going to be fun. We've got a whole plan. Going to be working on a new sim rig. Going to be updating a whole bunch of cars, and going to be starting the work on three new. Well, I say new. Three chassis builds. Let's just call it that. This body here, TBG off of eBay in Canada. See, I got a little bit of headlights going on. We've got a couple of your standard headlight, taillight wiring harnesses ready to go. I want this truck back. I love this little thing. It was so much fun to put it with the other Baja trucks and off-roaders. So we're going to work towards a junkyard doggy. We got this tub that came from the Toyota when I upgraded to the MB Racing carbon fiber chassis. So having all of the gearboxes and parts necessary, as we can see laid out here, this one does not go with that. This one is going to go with this one. I've kind of come to a conclusion that my Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint GTA, it's quite a name, needs to be back in the game. So after some careful eyeball measurements of this chassis, parts here and then some are going to end up, so you see all this stuff, right? Carbon fiber chassis. I've got the gray gearboxes, little carbon battery plate. These knuckles I'm going to try and adapt to fit. I believe that they're going to work. The spacing is just about right. I'm dropping parts everywhere, but that's okay. The most critical part of one of these builds is not just all of your little functional like ball diffs and gears, because these they actually sell pretty regularly. Tamiya will make production runs of these spare parts so you can get these gears. I suggest buying them in pairs. That way you've got everything to redo your vehicle a couple times. The steering, we're going with aluminum on the carbon fiber chassis. It comes with its own shock tower and carbon fiber. So that's what direction we're going to go. And that body, I need to get a couple sets of aluminum arms. I say a couple because the Toyota still needs it. And then once I get the aluminum arms on that, I'm going to take the plastic arms down here with the old junkyard doggy. I have this cool pink aluminum motor mount from RC Damper off of eBay. Pretty much everything I get comes off of eBay. I've been figuring out little places to find used, or not used, but kind of scalped parts. They part out some of these kits. So I have the hardened drive shaft and drive shaft cups here for the carbon fiber chassis. As far as tires and rims go, I'm either going to go with contacts because they'll fit under that body. If for some reason they don't, I have these road racing semi-slicks, and I'll get a set of bead locks for them. Oh, what else? Gears. You got to find these little gear bags. Usually 10 or 12 bucks. You're going to want a couple of those. Critical factors, stuff you cannot live without. You're going to have some of the drive cups for the axles. You'll notice that some of these are different lengths. These are for the TA02 series. These are more for the TA04s. Even though they will tend to work, you have to finagle them a little bit with the spacing. Got another ball diff here. One of the most critical factors is that little nut in there. little, and then the squishy washers. Occasionally you can find those internal parts. Super critical are these little shafts. I believe I've got a little one right here. I got a drive cup there. I've got yet another one here. So I think I've got those covered. Here's the aluminum steering post you need to go with the carbon fiber upgrade on the chassis. So I'm close. I'm going to have to get some of the aluminum knuckles. I will be making, when you get the blue Yeah Racing aluminum knuckles, they come with these uprights with ball ends and all little screw ends and spacers and all that crap. So I think I'm going to go with those. And then probably rob the parts off of it and get the Jazz Rider gray, because I'd like to get the gunmetal gray aluminum pieces to match all of the gearboxes and whatnot. I find that on the T802 series, because of how they expose the motor, okay, and this fan has to be cut a lot deeper up here. You see how it's notched right here? I'm gonna have to cut that a lot deeper. These are like $1.95 for the heatsink and the fan. Fan usually comes installed upside down, so it's trying to push air. You kind of want to have it cut, leaned back, and then the fan will bolt in over here where it draws air off and sends it out the back. Usually, as you can see, these motors are kind of sitting up here like this, hanging out, with the ability for the tires to throw dirt at them, etc. So I like to have a sealed can motor. I'm usually not that excited to go with such a heavy duty motor, but I'm going to give it a shot. It's 5800 kV Novak that I got with a combo. So I'm going to find some kind of a motor control that will handle this guy. And then, of course, just your regular old radio. Probably one of these like Spectrum, something like that, a little 3-channel or 2-channel something. That'll be for the carbon fiber. For the old junkyard dog here, it'll be maybe a little bit cheaper. I'm going to try and find a Novak brushed motor control. That'll kind of go with some of the decal works that I've got on here. Novak or nothing kind of works for me. I really like their stuff. Probably, plus, it's kind of a vintage thing. Some of these chunks, this one right here has got a stamp on it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but right in here, these little wordings right here is 1993, made in Japan. So the tub itself is from the early 90s. I kind of like this 25 turn motor. I may end up with buying like the 27 turn dirt tuned and taking the cover off of it. Get a Novak motor control. I've seen a few of them on eBay for a relatively decent price. I got a deal on these Pitbull Rock Beasts. Really cool tires, really big, but they're 2.230. So there's a 3-inch hole here, 2.2. So they're short course, made for clearing mud and all kinds of other stuff. So with that in mind, considering that this is going to be quite a sizable deal here, as you can see, that's pretty big. Where's the body? They're going to be spaced out pretty sizable. I like that sizing. It fits kind of with my Toyota. If the gearing comes out right with the motor, it'll be enough to get a good run out on the tires, as well, kind of make it a nice sand dune truck, as well as a good Baja and off-roader. if I get the angle wrong, unfortunately, my Toyota, I need to back off on the steepness of the angle because it likes to snap these heads off. These are actually plastic tips with these dog bone, the little steel shafts impregnated through the plastic. So it's not like a solid piece of steel. So they will snap. I've got the idea that we can take this piece of turned aluminum scrap plate here. I can cut a center section out to do a lift kit like I did on my Toyota. And then I'm going to go ahead and use this TA04 carbon fiber front shock tower. It's got nice spacers, all that kind of stuff. As you can see, with a little click there, we've got some nice big shocks. About 100 millimeters, I would say, 80 to 100, and those ought to work very nicely. Got a brand new blue gear case here, so we're going to kind of stick with the Pepsi red, white, and blue personal Loctite. You know, should work out pretty nicely along these lines. I believe I have found for about $10. I'll have to glue them. They're not bead locks, but that'll be. I'm going to try to use. I've got some really good Loctite super glue, and I'll try and use that super glue some white rims on there, so that will look pretty stellar. They're kind of like these. This is for my Lancia, but they're a little bit more off-roady. 6-shooters, I think, is what they call them. What else? What else? This one will pretty much be all plastic. I'm not really going heavy duty on the motor. I want to get the angle right on these to where it has plenty of travel, but it's not overburdening these axles. I also, for $35 or so, $40 a set, I can get the CV versions of these. So they come with the outer, and they're actually like a cross joint style steel, and then it's a dog bone inner. So they should ride in these cups just like these do, and then I can take these all out of the trucks and leave them in the cars, because in the cars they're at a much more neutral angle. This is kind of a smoother joint, so it's like a Teflon ball end. I'm not even showing you what you're looking at here. So, and they break a lot less in the cars. Also, I am not able to use these because they got a bigger bearing surface in here. So these axles have to be used with these knuckles. See, so they go in there. So I've got enough to get myself into this junkyard dog. What'll probably end up happening is I have to get an aluminum set of these knuckles, which will be fine. The knuckles tend to break out right here and crack. So this is one of those things. Plus, I destroyed this one trying to fit it into my drift car. You can see it's just ruined. So I'll have to get those as part of that. I got those put on. So that'll kind of be nice and out at an angle. Good travel. These tires are really good. I can already tell they're nice and squishy enough, but not so squishy that you can't get any traction with them. I may be rebuilding and robbing this ball diff just so I can have twin ball diffs on the car. That way this 5800 is not really totally just destroying everything all the time, hopefully. I'll have to probably use some Loctite on the diff bolts there, or that little cross bolt on the differential. So that, as far as the Tamiyas goes, obviously I need a couple of radios. Got to have a couple of steering servos. Probably going to need some servo posts here, so I'll probably get those little aluminum ones at the same time when I get the front knuckles. something like that. If I really got serious about that car, I've still got some aluminum bead locks off of the Lancia that I could put these tires on. That's, you know, a very small footprint and run out, so that essentially it helps to gear this really overly fast motor down even further. So if I put like a very small pinion and then put these tires and rims on it to where they're basically, I mean, they fit pretty well, you know, so it's not too bad. And then I'm not sure about the bead locks. I would kind of rather have just a regular rim. I also have, it's a possibility. We'll see if it works. If I can get them to work, I have some Unicorn bronze rims, and I think that they will go not too shabby with the white. They are extremely wide. They're made for 31 millimeter rubber tires, so I would have to go and get a set of tires for them. But I think as far as spacing them out, because this body is very wide, you can see, I mean, it's probably wider than that truck. So instead of a 190, it's a 200, and I'll have to, you know, it's kind of a wide body already, so I'll have to work that out later. Thinking I've got the motor here and the motor there, so probably brushless sensored motor control here. Probably, I don't know, but, you know, like an LRP, something like that would probably be best. And then, like I said, a Novak here. So I got a little bit of Novak stuff in each one of them, because I got a, you know, obviously a little bit of livery issue when it comes to that. So yeah, as far as these Tamiyas go, I think that we've got some, and these pit bulls come with some really good graphics. So we're gonna have to figure out, maybe even peel a few graphics off of this truck, or just find some places where some of these graphics can live. I think we've got some relatively good real estate here, perhaps here, just depends. Got some white stuff, so maybe along the bottom, somewhere in here, something like that, because, you know, it's not too bad to put them there. So pretty much got most of the parts. I actually think I've got a R34 Skyline in carbon fiber, so I've still got this wing because I went with a Yokomo double stack and the adjustable aluminum wing mount. So I've still got some aluminum wing mounts here, and this wing only, you know, it's cut off all of this stuff, and it's got some nice side plates. So I was kind of thinking, just because, I don't know, I may have to, like, kind of gently tack these in place with a little bit of glue and see how well it looks. I'm not sure. I think it might actually be really cool. So I'm gonna try that. Yeah, and that ought to complete 2 more of those builds. I think we're at 18 right now, because I went out and tested this guy the other day, and it was absolutely sublime. Needs a lot more drag brake to slow down, because his top speed, if you pull the trigger at half speed to full throttle, it snaps sideways and has like a very good risk of spinning. So definitely enough power even with a 21.5 turn. If I'm not mistaken, 21.5 turns is the faster class in the Formula One series, as far as the Roar spec kind of deals where they race those. Hopefully, this looks like the shaft for that. I'm not sure where the shorter one goes, if at all. So I'm thinking we may have all of the driving shafts for the gears, or for the gearboxes, to make 2 of these vehicles, because you need front and rear and then an idler for each vehicle. So I'm hoping we've got enough to do that, because it looks like we've got front and rear, and then where the hell did I see that other one? See, and then an idler and an idler. So I'm thinking, maybe if we need one more, we got to get one more. But well, and see, no, because this one's already got. That's what I forgot. This one's already got a gear in it, so it's got these little idlers sitting there chilling in. So as you can see, this one's already been put together. So as long as we've got, I think this short little guy is the one that's critical, because it comes to this little idler, and that is in the rear box here. Front gets one of those. It just gets one of these. See? So pretty sure that one's good. And then because we've got the gear set and then another complete set of gears here. Yeah, so I think we've got enough. With this little short guy, that's enough to build the rear box on that one. This one's already got it. Medium and long, the mediums, or the 2 longer shafts, are what we use to build the bigger gears, which I will show you is these ones right here. That's your spur, and it takes the longer, I think they're 28 millimeter shafts. If I'm not mistaken. I have to get the old book out and check that out for myself, but now I have what looks to be, a 30 millimeter. That might not be correct. So if I've got to cut this down and sand it, that's the way it goes. It's just the right size, and it's anodized already, so it's hardened a little bit. Hopefully I won't heat it up too much cutting it down. So yeah, that should be pretty much everything on those. I've got another project. The third one is the Resurrection. So we got scratch made, because none of this carbon fiber kit, I'm not making this from like an actual Tamiya kit, and this body used to be on a TA04 chassis. This body did come off of a TA02 that went to being a car, but this is another foray into a completely different brand. As you can see, we've got a team associated B4 buggy. Uh-oh, with parts dropping off left and right. Now we've done it. Yeah, all right. We're just going to have to grab those, put them back in place. So what I got to get, and these things use, I think, a standard size thread, because none of my metric stuff is working on. But luckily, I had a Lowe's high roller transmission from a parts bin find a long time ago that a neighbor brought me. So I got the slipper clutch assembly going on. It seems to be basically complete, other than needing obviously all the parts and a nut right here to hold that all on. I've got a body, got plenty of body clips. I can easily switch down to these small tires to get it geared a little bit more properly. I don't really remember what this gear was. Pretty tall, I think. Or no, pretty deep. But it's complete. So I've got the steering assembly. It's got a servo saver in here. I got some aluminum servo mounts. Looks like aluminum bulkhead here. These things are very expensive when new. This was my brother-in-law's, so He just got out of it, didn't have any use for it. It was sitting there, so he handed it over. I promptly robbed all the parts on it because I didn't really need a two-wheel drive buggy, but we're going to put it together. I might be putting some sand tires on there, some paddles back here. I don't know. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I have found the bodies for it. And I think maybe a couple graphics packages that I came up with may work pretty well. Motor and motor control wise, I think I'm already squared away. What I'm going to do is I have a Castle Sidewinder SCT, or short course truck motor control. And then we got this in. It is a 4600 kV Castle brushless sensorless motor. So there you go. I don't know if this camera, if you can even read that. That's terrible. On my screen it looks horrible. But this should be enough to stand this thing on end pretty much at any time. Plenty of revolutions. It's not gear reduced or anything. It's a direct motor to spur kind of drive. Well, actually, it's gear that's reduced here at the transmission. That's incorrect. Sorry about that. Totally forgot about the gearbox. When it first came to me, it had an 8.5 turn Novak motor, which is quite a lot. It roached its motor control because we actually had traction here where it wasn't used to any of that, I guess. So I'm gonna try and dabble with this one, get a note on for it. It's not a bad little machine. It's really fairly serious competition level stuff, actually. Made for jumping, I think. It's one of those ones you constantly see flying through the air. Obviously, the back tires are just grossly oversized. I think that probably had a lot to do with the motor control frying, because I was trying to get traction where these things would just spin in the dirt. We couldn't steer, so I don't think this is going to be... we also found some Hoosier tires that'll probably go for this one. So this may take a minute or two, but really a steering servo. Got a nut there, need a pinion. Got one already probably. Got the motor and control, so just a servo and a radio. And this one's basically up and running. The motor covers are like $10. So we'll go to Ace Hardware and get a nut pretty quick. These are pretty torn up. So maybe some changes as far as tires and wheels go. We'll just have to see. Gonna be pretty exciting to see how that one turns out, because it should be like lightning fast with that motor control in it. I'm genuinely excited to see how fast this one is, even though it's going to be geared pretty steep. I'm betting that it lights up the tires, all four of them, all the time. Especially if we get these, I may end up actually having to go buy a set of G-made bead locks for this, or just do those aluminum ones. That might actually be a thing. Pop those aluminum bead locks on there just to secure the tires. I don't know if these will fit, but if I can, I will. I'm babbling. I'm milking it. So I'm just going to let it go right there. We got a little half-hour update. I'm glad to be back from vacation, and got all the bench and shock cleaned up to get ready for all these. Probably the first thing that I actually do is finish getting my bead locks put back on and a new differential built for the for my Lancia. That might actually be if I go back to a 15.5 turn motor for that Lancia, I might not use this. I might take the 3800 kV Castle motor out of that Lancia and put it to use somewhere else, namely in this little TA02 scratch build that I'm doing. So, oh, as far as, I just looked up here, and the drift cars, we took these out to California with us and drifted the Sundial Bridge in California. It is absolutely epic. It's like this glass floor on a massive, like architectural looking bridge that's got a sundial in the middle of it. Like the bridge is the sundial, several hundred feet tall. It's really cool. But drifting across it back and forth was really awesome. Plus, if you notice, there's like little white, dusty, chunky shits all over everywhere. Why? What happened? Decided that we were at the Bonneville Salt Flats, and why not drift those too? So look for a couple little pieces of video coming up. We did video both, so I'm probably just going to add them two together, a little YouTube free music, and get that going on, just to show you guys what we were up to while we were gone. So there it is. A little bit of a roster update for you. Keep tuned in, and we will break out some of the really cool builds. I think these two Tamiyas are going to be really cool, and definitely wait to check these videos out, because drifting those bridges that bridge and then the salt flats was cool. But I actually do not suggest ever doing any RC work at the salt flats of Bonneville, because now it's impregnated with salt. So if there's ever any moisture, it's literally going to like seize up everything. Salt acid will just eat this whole thing completely. So no moisture now ever for our drift cars. And I don't suggest ever drifting Bonneville unless you have like a throwaway or driving it, really. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. Thanks for watching. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Thanks for watching. I'm not a very good YouTuber. I'm old, so I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for stopping by.